Good evening, I'm Ria Chatterjee. The capital is set to miss out on £7 billion of spending this year, according to the Centre for Economic and Business Research. A new report says London is being hit hard by the lack of tourists, and it's not just holidaymakers who aren't coming to the capital. This morning, the Business Secretary said flexible home working is here to stay. Our political correspondent, Simon Harris, explains.
On a damp Monday morning, one of London's sightseeing buses boasted that rarest of species, the lesser spotted American tourist. Laura and Audrey from Utah have taken advantage of relaxed COVID rules for visitors from the US.
We've come for pleasure to get out of our country and spread our wings a little that COVID's lifting up a bit.
But most on board were staycationers.
We're from Bournemouth and we used to live fairly close to London, so we thought we'd bring the children and the family here for a day out to see the sights.
We're from just outside Blackpool. We've come down for my brother's wedding and then having a few days extra.
Before COVID, as many as 8 out of 10 passengers on these buses were from overseas.
And we operate in 23 cities across the world, and in Paris, in Italy, in Berlin. We're seeing 40% of our customers already from the US, and in the UK, we've had maybe 1 or 2 in the last week.
At the 5-star Landmark Hotel in Marylebone, Mark and Francesca have just got married, but Mark's South African parents had to quarantine en route in Montenegro.
They had to do 10 days in Montenegro. And then they had to have their 2 or 3 COVID tests there. Then they flew into London. They had to quarantine, do the 5-day test and release. Yeah. So they spent thousands of pounds on PCR tests. I think they've had like 6 or 7 PCR tests.
Travel restrictions have left a big dent in luxury hotel bookings.
We've missed the Middle East business, and certainly for a lot of the luxury hotels in London and luxury retail stores, they very much rely on that Middle East business, and that has not been forthcoming.
Foreign tourists used to make up around 2/3 of summer visitors to the Tower of London.
At the moment we're getting nearly 4,000 visitors a day. It's the summer holidays, so it's the peak for this year. On a normal summer's day, we would have had over 10,000 people.
Last year, the pandemic cost the Tower and the other historic royal palaces £100 million. The tourist drought isn't the only big challenge facing London's economy. Working from home continues to have a huge impact on many businesses, which is one reason why ministers want London's 100,000 civil servants to start going back to the office.
The small businesses, especially your cafes and lunch venues, they rely so much on that commuter traffic, going past their cafe in the morning, stopping in for a coffee and a bite to eat.
Outside Buckingham Palace, there was a sprinkling of tourists, but nowhere near the normal crowd. London desperately needs its visitors and its commuters.
Now the latest
Simon Harris, ITV News,
in
Buckingham
the Calendar
Palace.
region with Katie Rickett and Duncan
Tower
Wood.
Bridge is still stuck open tonight after it became jammed this afternoon because of a technical fault. The bridge got stuck after it opened to let a large historical ship pass underneath at about 2:30. It was causing big issues with traffic during rush hour earlier. The City of London police say they don't know how long it'll stay like this. Now, it's the only surviving Latin Quarter in the country, and this weekend it took a big step forward to remaining just that. The Seven Sisters indoor market in Tottenham was due to be demolished and replaced with 190 build-to-rent flats. But after a 15-year campaign, the developer has confirmed it's axing its plans. Sam Holder spent the day with stall owners who say they're relieved, but the fight isn't over yet.
The last of London's Latin villages. A tiny market so significant, the United Nations warned demolishing it would be a threat to cultural life. After well over a decade, the plans to gentrify Seven Sisters indoor market have been scrapped. Although most of it is now temporarily closed, this is a cultural hub for those from South America. Vicky broke down in tears when she heard the news.
It's been amazing. I can't express. I can't put into words the feeling. I felt like someone said to me, "You just won the lottery," because actually it is the lottery for us. It's just amazing feeling.
Property developer Granger had planned to build 190 flats here, but they pulled out following local pressure, protests and lawsuits.
This is a destination spot. People are coming from all over London to visit the Latin Village. It's important to us in Haringey, it's important to Tottenham, and it's important to London and beyond.
The market is owned by Transport for London. Campaigners have put forward their own redevelopment plans, but there's been no agreement yet. And there's an even more immediate problem. Concerns about safety have meant the market's been closed since March 2020, leaving traders without anywhere to work. In a statement, TfL said, "We want to see traders being able to operate safely again as soon as possible. We will work with the local community and stakeholders, including Haringey Council, while we consider our potential next steps and options." Some stall owners have been forced to find nearby locations. Traders have been given financial support by TfL, but it's not clear how long this will last.
The question is, if that support was given before, where is it now? When will the traders get it? And if the traders are unable to trade in the building due to health and safety issues, where will they be allowed to trade instead?
Although the property developers pulling out has been a landmark victory for the campaigners, the future of the landmark Latin Village itself is far from clear. Sam Holder, ITV News.
Now, it's been a pretty wet start to the week, but will it clear up in time for the weekend? Let's take a look at the weather forecast now with Holly Green.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello, good evening. It should start to feel a bit more like summer, I think, over the next few days. This evening, we have had some heavy torrential downpours, thundery in places too. They are tending to ease off. A couple of showers for tomorrow, but actually largely dry day. And that's the theme into the coming days, so turning drier and temperatures on the rise as well. So the reason for that, well, we are seeing some slightly higher pressure building in, a brief ridge of it. Then we turn our attention out to the west and we see this feature approaching, but that tends to keep any rain associated with these weather fronts out to the west. And we pick up a little bit more of a southerly flow ahead of this weather front, and it allows our temperatures to rise a little. We have, though, still got some heavy, potentially torrential downpours out there, thunder, lightning, hail all a risk, but it is tending to turn drier. Starry skies overhead. These are typical temperatures. The venture outside the capital, values a bit lower, and we could see a bit of mist and fog forming in places as well, probably quite shallow, though. For many, it's a lovely bright start to things for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine from the word go. A little bit of cloud bubbles up and you could catch an odd shower or two, but mostly a dry story and temperatures getting that bit higher, and that's a theme that continues into the coming days.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Finally tonight, one of those returning home from Tokyo today was cyclist Ethan Hayter. He picked up a silver medal in the men's Madison yesterday alongside his housemate Matt Walls. And while they were lighting up the velodrome in Japan, back here in South London, young cyclists said they could finally see a path to success. Anna Geary reports.
A hero's welcome for London's Ethan Hayter as he arrived at Heathrow this morning, particularly after it had looked like a medal was slipping away from him and teammate Matt Walls in Tokyo.
Hayter racing round the bottom of the track. Maximum points for Britain at the end of the race. Denmark take the gold medal and Britain get the silver.
The 22-year-old developed his love for cycling almost a decade ago at his local velodrome in Herne Hill.
Good, no, Mark, well done.
As an under-16 youth rider, John was his coach.
So what is Ethan like and what makes him so special?
He works super hard. He's always worked super hard and he is really, really determined. And he was never afraid of setbacks, so if he ever crashed or he ever got sick, then he was always straight back up on the bike and as soon as he could be.
This unwavering tenacity was something Ethan came to rely on in the journey to his first Olympic medal, after being plagued with injury, including a broken back last summer. This made his victory all the more special for those who gathered at Jan's Cafe next to the velodrome to watch him secure silver on Saturday morning. Many of the junior riders said it was a motivational moment.
It's weird that someone like who came from cycling around here is up in the Olympics winning silver.
And does it inspire you to go on and become an Olympian?
Yeah, it really does. It's really exciting, really cool to do that. It's just, especially because he came from our club, it makes you feel like there's actually a pathway to get there.
It's inspirational, to be honest, and yeah, it just believes that I can get somewhere one day.
Ethan now joins Olympic greats including Sir Bradley Wiggins on the Herne Hill Velodrome Alumni Hall of Fame. Pedal power he will no doubt hope to match and target a gold in Paris 2024. Anna Geary, ITV News.
Well, that is it from us for now. We'll be back on air tomorrow from just after 6 o'clock with updates in Good Morning Britain. Until then, from all of the London team here this evening, good night.